Welcome back to another episode of A Candor Gander with your host, Sergeant Filthy McNasty. We've got a special one lined up today. We're going to be chatting 3XP, GameFi, Web3, and of course, none other than DFK. Let's bring on our distinguished guest. We will go ahead and start with Mr. Sticks intern. Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy. I feel like I'm regular here, so no need to keep it too long. Good to see everyone.
All righty, Starbuck, welcome back.
Nice so there I was. Picture this. No, I'm joking.
Picture this. Zealous, welcome back. Nice seeing you, man. Haven't seen you in a minute. Christian Peter.
What's up, guys? Feels like the 3XP reunion.
Woo!
Yes.
I wish.
Oh, no kidding. The other roommate, Brown Gent.
Hey, how's it going?
That was pretty slick. That was cheers. You're popping bottles, I'm popping cans of something here. I don't know.
Ellie thinks this is trash, so it's all good.
There we go. We've got two special guests. Doug Hype, welcome to the show.
Hey, special baby. That's right. Everyone's special. Let's give some hugs
Everyone's
today.
Special for sure. And then a surprise guest, the one, the only, Mr. Sun Bear.
Boom!
Surprise!
He's right there.
Surprise!
That's good.
I could do an introduction for you, but Grady's here in spirit. He lives in this show, into forever. So I'll let Grady introduce Sun Bear.
We got Sun Bear, baby.
Yes.
Sun Bear, baby.
Incidentally, we were at 3XP and Grady would literally introduce me to people this way.
He's filthy. He's nasty. He's Sergeant Filthy McNasty. Yeah.
That might be the greatest intro ever. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like,
I want that name now. Oh my god.
But you heard intern do it, right?
I can send you that file, Doug.
Oh, he's got those files and much, much more.
Intern, do your impression. Come on, Grady 2.0.
It's so good. I can't do it right now. I'm sitting down. It's not. I don't want to put it all on the line at this moment.
So before Dreamer talked, I told him, sorry, Grady's gonna be doing something else. He's not gonna make it. He's busy with something with Jet, and he said, yeah, okay. But then during the speech, you started shouting like Grady, and I saw him squinting like, what? Grady's here?
Oh, I did the same thing. I was like in the front row recording, and I all of a sudden hear Grady like, DFK, baby, yeah! And I'm like,
that's it? That's Grady.
Anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. The soundboard of a man.
No kidding. And it told for he was there as well. He can attest to the fact we had a great time. The reason we have Doug Hype on today is to give him tremendous FOMO. He's gonna want to leave this show and develop some sort of time machine to go back to get a ticket to go to 3XP and we'll all hang out together in the past. That'll be great.
I had a mega stream beaming from 3XP into my stream. You all could have been on.
I'm going to vouch for Brown Gent. He was asking for Wi-Fi connection all through the event. He said, bro, we're going to get
It's
Wi-Fi.
all his fault. Other people did come on my show, prominent people, but it's fine. They got to learn all the alpha about pizza and hamburgers. It's not a big deal.
We watched your show at lunch when you had you were doing the Dragon's Crossing special with Grady and Jen. It was me, Jen, KP, and Sarge. We were all just sitting
I
there.
wish you would have filmed
food.
yourself watching the show. Please do that. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Where's Grady?
Smart. That's smart.
Do you have that B-roll, bro? I need that. The intro needs to be other people watching my show, and then the show starts, and they're like, all the hype was just for this. Like,
wow, that's such a good lead-in.
My biggest regret was leaving everything early to go to Rodeo Drive just to find out it closes at 6 p.m. and sort of miss out on like the Hollywood party. I ended up going to the gym instead and eating like McDonald's by myself at like.
Oh no! Oh my god, bro.
That's what I was while you guys were on go-karts and stuff.
Yeah, don't leave the group.
Well,
that's lesson number one.
The thing is, I live in Canada. I wanted to go Rodeo Drive, but then
I could have got you in.
So did all of you get accepted into the after party? You all got the approval? The official?
No, not me. Not me. Starbuck got me the approval. He talked to the guy, got me in, no problem. And then, I mean, if you want the real story, Starbuck gave it last night.
Nice job,
So,
Starbuck.
Oh, that was funny.
So, Christian, you going to tell them what you did?
So Zellies and I were like completely lost for the after party. I think that between the three of us, Sticks intern, Zellies and I, we all snuck in. We thought the approval was like going to come to us before we got there. And we walked up to the convention center at 8 o'clock, no buses, no nothing. Couldn't figure out anything. Finally got a call from Starbuck. Hey, we're on the bus. We'll see you there. We're like, oh my God, I guess we got to drive down there. So we drive all the way down there only to get told by the front door bouncer woman that, no, you can't get in. You don't have an approval. And I'm like, talk to Chris. He was on our stream. We got a bunch of people to come here. And she goes, okay, give me a second. She gets on her phone. She goes, all right, I'm going to do a little something for you. You can't tell anybody. I'm going to walk you in. And we're like,
everyone was on the stream.
Nice. Yeah. So she walks us in, right when we get in the door, there's like, Starbuck, Mosh, Sticks intern. They're all eating pizza, drinking drinks. And we're like, this is great. We got in there, and all of a sudden, Mosh is tackling people on the 3-on-3 basketball court, and people are buzzing by us and go-karts, and people are playing beer pong in the corner. And we're like, thank God we got into this after party. I was like, and all I could think of was the brown Jen at the gym on a Stairmaster. And I was like,
that's what I was doing. I was sending pictures of it. So,
well, it beats me being in traffic driving back home on a Friday during rush hour. So, brown Jen, you didn't lose that one. I did. Well. And speaking of prominent figures, Sun Bear, you were there. I am dying. We are dying to hear your sort of take on what happened. I know. If you've heard, we've all heard the after party sort of stories. It was great. It was fun. I would love to relive that. But from your perspective, Sun Bear, I mean, what did you see? What did you hear? What made 3XP special for everyone who was there?
What made it special? Well, I mean, you guys did, obviously. Just getting on here and seeing all your faces, and like I was just with these guys in that space, and honestly, I mean, it was a small group, just me and Dreamer coming from the core team. But having you all there, it felt like family, especially with those that I've connected with before, and honestly, like new connections that I made with y'all too. I learned about some of your stories, like how you got your name, Starbuck. It was meaningful for me. And so I didn't feel like we were such a small team. It felt like we were a force. And of course, whenever Dreamer or anybody's talking, and we're all there, you guys are yelling and stuff. It just feels right. It feels fun. So that was special. It also felt like there was a different overall, just vibe. Yeah. We've gone to a lot of these events. Every once in a while, it's like an event where it's like, wow, everybody here, like in Singapore, for example, last year, everybody here is a builder. They don't care that it's the bear market. They are just like, they're hungry, they're building, they're like really intelligent and planful and everything. And every once in a while you go to another one, like the last one in Miami at Decentral, it's just like people are sad. They don't want to be sad. They're glad we're together, but we're kind of sad together. We're trying to figure this out. This one felt more like, hey, we're figuring some stuff out. We got to figure out this and that, and let's talk about how we can do that. Let's challenge each other about how we've done it before. Together. It felt more productive, right? And so I really appreciate that. It's like, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty of how do we actually reach these people that don't understand, like Web3, that need, how do we get the gamers into this new gaming world? Yeah, we're trying to find these ways to bridge between them, but are there other creative ways to use the technology to use, I don't know, to figure out how to actually see people or have people see the vision. And, you know, folks like you and conversations, you know, that we had to kind of play with some of those ideas. And then, of course, the overall event and some of the great people there really brought that to life. And so I feel like I'm more inspired, and I feel like the team is on the right path, kind of with the vibe that's out there that feels like it is moving forward.
Well, and to your point, there was a tweet that went out from 3XP, and it was something to the effect of, "There's no I in Web3, but there's a we," and it really felt like that together, sort of like we were all there, sort of brought together, you know, for different reasons, but we came together as a one. And I think the sentiment in the space is sort of, hey, you know what, we're all banded together. We've got the mean SEC back there, sort of, you know, trying to point fingers left and right, but you know, it's an opportunity to sort of come together, unite, and become a collective one. To that point, I feel like the sentiment in the space has hit sort of rock bottom, and we're bouncing back up. I don't know if you all have seen some of these incredible tweets about DFK that have been coming out. Let me highlight some of those, that way you all can see them if you've missed them. I know I have, you know, I can be myopic and I can miss certain tweets, but here are some. Of course, 3XP's got to tweet us out, and they sure did. You know, it was great to be there. Great pick there. Avalanche, you know, it's not an event where DFK's at that, you know, there isn't an Avalanche tweet. So that was a great one to see. And notice the followers, right? So, you know, Avalanche almost got, you know, million followers here on Twitter. You know, Edge of NFT. You know, I have not, you know, I didn't know about him until I was sort of looking and scouring the internet for some of these. You know, their 18,000 followers got to see, you know, a kudos to DFK and the Avalanche team here. Adapt Radar, I'm sure you've seen this. You know, DFK hype. Coinplay.gg, you know, not familiar with them, but they've got almost 50,000 subs here, and you know, pumping up. You know, DFK has a top gainer in the last 24 hours from the time of that tweet. Here's me, yeah, tweeting out, and we've got, you know, Doug Hype, you know, just you know, sort of commenting here, saying, hey, you know what, you've got a bloater. By the way, bloater is such a huge hit. I didn't know how much of a people magnet they were, but you know, we've got Jess tweeting out DFK stuff. Spike, this one was an interesting one. He's a big time gamer. I believe he's Web3 content creator. He's got almost 100,000 subs, and Dreamer is gonna go on a Twitter space with him at some point. So that's great. We've got Scott Herman. I wasn't too familiar with him. I think he's a Web2 content creator. Almost 50K subs. You know, shouting out Dreamer in the DFK booth there. Yellow Panther X. Is he really? Okay, sweet. I'm looking forward to it because I didn't know. I'm not familiar with the guy, so
we're just gonna lift weights the whole time though. So.
Oh, the BG show up.
If you go on his YouTube, it's like a half gaming and half pumping iron.
That was the only guest that Doug had that I was like, I really want to meet him because I used to watch his videos back when he focused on fitness, but he's like moved to crypto in the last couple of years and stopped.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Sticks intern, you caught this one, Yellow Panther. You want to tell us about this one?
Oh, well, I mean, I just saw it. I followed him because I knew he was going to 3XP. Actually, I started following Yellow Panther because of his engagement with the 3XP post. Turns out he was one of the people competing in the esports arena that they had there. And he had a really awesome tweet about DFK and a conversation he had with Dreamer. And what I really liked about it is that, you know, he called out the fact that they've been building. And it's like, this guy isn't just, you know, a DFK Perma Bowl, like, for example, everyone on this bottom row except maybe Doug Hype. And so, like, it was cool to see someone else out from, like, outside my own echo chamber kind of say the things that I think, right? It's very nice.
Something I would say to that as well is the comment I heard from a lot of those communities that showed up. I think we were the only one who actually had players and community show up versus like, the builders. I think they were all sort of like, oh yeah, it's DFK, but it's not just like Dreamer and Sunbear and like the DFK team. It's like their community showed up to show support, right? And like you could hear it as well in the sessions. Like Sunbear sort of alluded to it. Like yes, you know, Grady and Sticks Intern sort of made their sort of vocalness sort of there, but there was tons of clapping from like the DFK squad at every one of the sessions. So, you know, great kind of appearance on that end. Yeah.
No, yeah, and these have been great. George from Cryptos R Us, and you've got Sam Price from Crypto Lifer interacting here, shouting out DFK, and you can see the views, the impressions, his tweets are getting. So pretty interesting. I mean, overall, for me, the sentiment, if it was low before 3XP, it's flipped and I was pumped enough to actually pick up a Gen Zero Sunbear. I know Brown Gen almost talked you into picking up a
We were
Gen
talking about
Zero,
the
but
Blue party, right? I remember like you were like, oh, I'm already looking into one. I sort of mentioned I picked up one like mid Congress, right? And that part was really cool.
Yep.
What I would say here as well is I don't know if any of you follow Tesla stock, but Tesla stock is a very good example of like why you can't just listen to people when like they look at price sentiment. It was $110 at the start of the year. It's sitting at 260. If you had bought it, you'd have more than 2x your money in the bear market on something that is so obvious, right? So like when we see deals on Gen Zeros, things that we know are like really valuable and like, yeah, like it demonstrated with the team and like the team hasn't given up. The team's still here. The team's still building. Like, why wouldn't you bet on that? That's sort of what I believe in. Sargent, like you picked up a Gen Zero, so you clearly believe in that too. And I believe, all of us out here clearly believe in that too. So
absolutely, Sunbear, seeing those tweets, hearing what you've heard, and it's not just seeing those tweets. I mean, seeing those tweets in a positive light, sort of positive tweets about DFK. What does that do to you? What does that do to the team? Had you seen some of those tweets, and if you hadn't, now that you've seen them, I mean, what are your thoughts?
No, for sure. I've seen them, and you'll even see that we retweet a lot of things from the DFK account because I mean we get excited about it. I'm on the marketing committee, and anytime any of us find anything, we share it with each other and be like, all right, what can we do with this? This is exciting. And some of it we just digest. We're just like, oh man, let's just share this. But some of it's like, oh, let's get this back out. Let's make sure people see this. And it's heartwarming to see that so much of it, a lot like the early days, has just kind of like naturally happened. We're not paying people to do any of these things. We're not going out of our way to make sure people are promoting. I mean, we're trying to do more efforts in that. Obviously, you've seen that in like our website, for example. But it's just it's heartwarming to see it. It's exciting, and I think it's a sign of the future. Honestly, people are seeing like the new art that just came out. I know there's a few people that don't like it as well, but man, most people love it. Like there's just the animations, the what we can do with what we've built around that. It's such a foundation that opens up into so many more realms around actual gameplay and like movement and all that kind of stuff. So, and then the website, it's so much easier for me now to sit down with a partner and say, let me show you who we are without actually, only taking you into the game and talking you through it. Let me show you what our core pieces, our core foundations are of this game and what we're building, what we've built and how it's going to build or how it's going to develop into what's coming. It just feels more professional. It feels more on par with the direction that we need to be going right now. So yeah, I'm excited. I feel really good. I was excited to come on here and share with you guys. I had no idea there'd be so many familiar faces from VXP. I'm super stoked about that. And so yeah, just wanted to join in some of the excitement and I think we're just going to see more and more of it throughout the summer.
Oh no, absolutely. And I don't know if I mentioned it at one point in time, but I know Sunbear's got to step out. Whenever you need to, just let me know, and we'll bid you adieu in a fitting way. But Christian, I know sort of the investment markets just as well as maybe Brown Jen and some of the other sort of big dogs out there. And not to talk about sort of jewel price and token price specifically, but just the sentiment. I don't know what I don't know, but it just feels like the shift in sentiment precedes any sort of positive movement, whether it be on Tesla stock or what insert name of other sort of commodity. I mean, what are your thoughts with that sentiment shift?
Yeah, I talked to Brown Jen at the conference when he first rolled into LAX. On the way back, I was like, Jade had its first day green candle that I've seen in like, I don't know, months. And so I was like, I bought some because I've been waiting for that bottom signal. You never know when it's going to come and you can never time the bottom exactly, but it's so nice to see things hit that level where, you've seen right now Jewel bouncing along that 10 cent mark. So it's pretty interesting to see like where these levels of support come in. And Brown Gent's much better at the technical analysis and the charting than I am. But when it comes to the technical factors, you can kind of feel the sentiment changing around like what's of value in the game. I've been talking about it for a while. Jewel, heroes. Now that pets have utility, pets are worth a lot more to me. I've been going out to the tavern, actually the hatchery now, usually once or twice at least a day, just to check on what's going on out there. I talked to Mosh about it a little bit at 3XP, and the prices are where they are, but you can kind of see where people are valuing things, and you hit those floors now where there's items that have hit their there's the heroes that have kind of hit their floor levels, and we talked about how the Gen Zero prices have been lately, and it's like some people have capitulated and they've kind of sold off, but now that you see the value there and we know what the team's doing, and the website redesign was absolutely phenomenal. It was a great time. Dreamer walked up to the screen at 3XP and he's like, yeah, we just did the website redesign. We're like, oh cool, we could actually see our heroes out there doing their thing, mining and gardening and foraging. So that was really cool to see as well. But yeah, I feel like the markets to me have hit that level where we saw it go down. We saw, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything kind of take a dump, right? Everything was going down when the NASDAQ and all the other stocks were going up. And now today was absolutely the opposite. So everything's been shooting up a little bit while the markets have been coming down. I don't know. I follow Raul Paul a lot, and he is of the understanding of which I totally believe that we're in an exponential age right now, and we won't know about it for about 10 years. But when we have the convergence of AI and robots and crypto all coming together, it's going to be just this period that we're all going to look back on and go, God, how did I not see that? Everything came together where all of a sudden the advances that we took were just incredible. Like AI is changing things so quickly. I mean, I'm on ChatGPT now almost every day, asking it questions, and it's answering things for me. It's helping me code. It's helping me do the things that, I otherwise would have never figured out how to do. And so I just think that we're hitting that time right now where we're looking at, okay, we've kind of hit that bottom. It feels like inflation's behind us. It feels like all the factors are there. And really there's only one way to go from here. And I'm hoping that it's up.
Yes.
For sure.
Doug Hype, you'll appreciate this next piece here. As you may all know, I'm not a chart guy. I'm not a stats guy, and I would always make fun of those people who would go to conferences and sort of take pictures of slides. So let me show you a picture of a slide I took because I think it's very appropriate here. It was actually one of the first presentations. I think Chris was giving this talk. I'll focus on a couple points that I thought was very interesting. So this is a Game 7 DAO research. 2 points sort of call out. I guess 3. One, since 2017, I didn't know we had 1,500 gaming projects. That was a little over 1,250 still active today. The other piece that caught my attention, I think it's something we've all heard at one point or another, is one game. Well, here's an answer to that. If you take those 1,500 projects, average development age is approximately 22 months. I think we're coming up on 22 months. And again, that's average, right? Average doesn't mean, it'll happen by the 22nd month mark. But if you use that stat alone and compare yourself against other projects, we're not doing so bad. I think this piece here gives us all, or should give us all, a bit of different perspective. Starbucks, Zealous, Doug Hype. Seeing these stats here. Any reactions?
It's surprising. Like you said, I didn't know that there were many games in this space. I try to stay open, and there's ones that get a lot more other people promoting, and some people are vocal in their own communities. And I like to check them out, at least check out their Discord, see how active they are. But I didn't know that there was even call it 500 plus.
If I would have guessed Starbuck, I would have probably guessed like 1,699, but that's just me. In this space, you have to understand we're at the frontier. We're at the frontier, like frontierism, right? There's going to be a lot of arrows in the back. You're going to take a lot of swings and misses, like in baseball, right? We've taken 1,500 swings. 50% of games are even playable today, right? It's extremely hard to make a video game that's like really good, right? Like AAA studios get huge budgets of $500, $800 million, right? Like I work with an insane amount of NFT projects, right, over the past year and a half, like so many of them. And all of them, all the founders, all the people that lead the project, their idea of what's going to happen, their expectations are like here, and reality is way down here. The reality is this: 1,500 games, half of them are not even completed, and they're not huge games. They're usually pretty simple games because they're Web3. Making a video game that's good is extremely difficult, and so what does that really say? Probably not much. It's just that we have to eventually figure out how to get people engaged, right? How to make things fun. But people are trying, and that's what happens has to happen for progress, right? The more we try, the more we do, the more we'll have good stuff happen and more good people show up. I mean, me personally, like especially after ETH Denver, which is my favorite conference in the history of the planet, and because it's all about building, and I got to see a lot of you guys there, got to meet you there, Sunbear, and it's so cool to see so many people building and so much stuff happening, the people that really care and really want to make stuff in the space. But like, it's just a real tough space. We just have to keep building and keep doing it because that's what needs to get done. And, we really have to enjoy what we're doing here. We're still in the early days, but we also have to be realistic too. So that's just the world we live in right now. And that's why I'm just trying to have as much fun as possible. You guys with Sunbear, with DeFi Kingdoms and everything going on with there, like everybody is just loves 8-bit, the style of the game, all this stuff that's going on with it, right? And I know for the past like 5 or 6 months, everyone's just like wanting to play like the PvP in the game so badly. Like this is, I feel like right now, all of the sentiment you guys are talking about is good lead into like all this stuff happening. And I'm looking forward to checking it out.
No, absolutely. Sunbear, I mean, from your perspective, being sort of on the team, you see stats like these. How does that make you feel?
Well, it kind of normalizes the process a little bit, right? Like, I mean, we've all wanted more quickly than we've gotten it. I've learned a lot about this team since I've been on it for the last, I guess, year and a half now. This team does not do anything half-ass. It will not put anything out until it's like, really ready to go, fully tested. And they won't do anything they don't get excited about. It is interesting. We've as we've been going, trying to figure out how do we manage like our priorities, how do we move forward as a team to really get certain things done. And it's not necessarily always what I think we should be doing or other, people would think we should be doing, but it's what we get most excited about. So I don't know, it's normalizing. It helps me see like, yeah, it does take time to do this. And ideally, we'd have a ton more funding and we'd be like, 3 times the team we are right now in numbers and force. And, wouldn't have had to like, get some help from, another studio to get kind of some of our PvP moving. But I think I'm proud of what we're doing with what we have. And just looking at the past year, even like we've built more in the bear market than we built, in the bull. And that just speaks to the team and we've done it with half the people.
Yeah.
And so we've really kind of narrowed in and gotten a rhythm going for how things can go, like work well for us. And and I think we've built such a foundation that as the pieces come out now, it's just going to be more and more exciting. Like I can't wait to equip my hero with a sword. How cool is that going to be to bridge with all the stuff he's like holding on to, right? Anyway, I can go on and on, but yeah,
please do.
Good.
Yeah, no. And so before you do, let me pause to sort of give everyone a perspective, an idea of maybe some of the other gaming projects were there. And it'll highlight another point I wanted to make. So this was a video that was shown earlier. It was a promo video of 3XP, but it sort of gives you a feel for the other projects that were there because we got to see some of these in action. So that's pretty neat.
Of a spell that's attached.
Oh my!
Yeah, so I as you can sort of see, the games that were there, at least many of the ones I saw, were very much, look and feel of Web2 games that you sort of know and love, which, take that into context when I say the following. DFK is very much unique. I didn't see any other, any of the other games that were there that looked and felt like DFK, and yes, 8-bit and or that sort of retro style.
100%.
But it's very unique. Zealous, I know you were sort of working the booth, sort of like, with your pamphlets, handing those out left and right. I mean, speak on that, because I know you sort of walked around. You got to speak to a lot of people there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so people were coming up to the table and they were scanning the QR code on the brochures, but I had hundreds of them, so I had to get rid of them somehow. So I started going on these trips where I'd grab a stack and walk around the room. I would sit down next to people sitting down on a show or watching the gamers competing and stuff like that. And everybody that I approached, every single person, when they saw the DFK stuff, they were just, they wanted me to stay and explain it to them. Can I have another one to take home to give to my friends? A couple of people said there's nothing else like this here. Like all these games, they're like, fast action, casual kind of gaming, but they looked at this and they're like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of all the great games I played in the past, right? Final Fantasy and so many other things. And they're like, crypto? Because remember, this is a gaming conference. People didn't come for the crypto. Most people perhaps don't even know what crypto is, or don't have a wallet, or don't trade actively, that kind of thing. Most people had heard of Bitcoin, and that's about it. And when they saw the game, they're like, oh my God. And these are real assets. Like a couple of people told me, yeah, I have like all this money in EVE Online and World of Warcraft and all this stuff. And they can't do anything with it. Like they amass these fortunes and it's not worth much in the real world. But in DFK, everything is real world. A couple people played.
Yeah.
Sorry, they played Axie Infinity, for example. Some mentioned it to me. Say, oh, this is like Axie Infinity. I'm like, no, it's way beyond that. Axie Infinity is for kids. You start with Axie Infinity and then you move on to DFK. And Axie is pretty much done with their development from my point of view, but DFK is just the beginning, the ideas, the plans. So we attracted, like the other games, they attracted younger people, I would say. Lots of teenagers, for example. And I think 20 and above, everybody was stopping by the DFK booth and really interested in everything about it, the graphics, the team, everything they saw, talking to us. Yeah,
same. I had somebody come up to me, and apparently they were in DeFi Kingdoms when it first came out. They exited, and as we were getting going, he's like, you know what? I think I still have a Discord handle. And he's like looking it up. He's like, oh, I still have some heroes. And he's like, you know what? You got to tell me all what's different. And he's like looking at it on my phone. He's like, oh my God, this is nothing like what I saw. I was like, first thing I showed him was the castle. And he's like, this isn't the castle I remember, And I was trying to think back because I came in a little late, and I do remember the old castle looking completely different. He had a screenshot of it. But I got him back into the game, got him into, of course, the Mythic Squad server, because it's, Mythic Squad. And he's back in. So I feel like, even people that have exited in the past might come back now and see a totally different environment. Maybe something that they envision might be there years down the line. To their surprise, they're looking at it now, and it's a lot more well polished. There's a lot more tact, more well thought out navigation. Even the navigation blew him away. He's like, oh my God, that's a lot easier. And you kind of take it for granted because they sprinkle some things, really, really slow. Some change happens slow, and then some change comes in like a bolt of lightning. And I feel like over the last couple of months, it's been like bolt of lightning after bolt of lightning, and I can't wait till the end of this summer.
Center, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, it's happening like what you're talking about. Well, so many people coming up, that've been in the past, they're coming back in. When they say, hey, what's happened in the last year? I get excited, right? It's like, okay, here we go. Let me just show you. You pull up even Crystalville and they're like, whoa, there's twice as many things here if I even saw Crystalville before, But even like with what you're seeing on our daily wallets, right? Like percentages are going up through the roof the last week, the last month. There's so many more active wallets, whether they're new or returning, I'm not sure, but I think probably a good combination of both. Anyway, just it's part of that momentum.
At least 100 people mentioned to me really old stuff like, oh, Harmony, I played on Harmony, or oh, I hatched a pet, but I couldn't do anything with it on Harmony, or are you guys still doing the wishing well?
Oh, wow.
Right. And when they say this to me, I'm like, whoa, the game, that was like where the game
That's
is
a long
now.
time ago.
From when they played it, it was at 1% of where it is now. Right now we're at 5% of what the game's going to be, right? But at that point, it was 1%. The wishing well?
Yeah, and to illustrate that, we've got a tweet
No
here
utility?
to bring back up. DAP Radar, right? A unique active wallets, 22,000, 200% increase. Now, I don't suspect any of us here created, 10,000 wallets, or 5,000 wallets at a time to sort of get these numbers up. But it's sort of interesting, right? Six Intern, I mean, you were hitting those the computers as well. You were chatting people up. I mean, what did you hear from people?
I heard just really positive things. People came up with good questions. I will say that when I explained how the pets and the heroes work right now, where you can equip the pet and it's like a piece of equipment that goes on the hero. No, you can't see it on the card yet, but maybe later. But for now, you do get these bonuses where you send them on a quest and they get this, or if you send them to duels, they get these extra points depending on the rarity. And people were mind blown that it was like, and these are both NFTs? Like, whoa. And then the other main thing that I was hearing was just kind of an echo to something Sunbear said earlier, is that these new animations really just like they were captivating to the eye. People would just see them and they would have to walk up to the booth. And so it was like literally captivating. People were raptured, drawn to the images. And that's always been the secret sauce of DFK. I mean, it doesn't matter how good your underlying technology is or the how theoretically fun a complex gaming system is. If it's not something that people want to look at, they're just not going to spend the time to do it, and it's not going to get them even over that first initial step. And so DFK's got that. It's got that special sauce, and it's cool to see live just people reacting that way and coming up just like googly-eyed over these new hero images with the tentacles. And then the fact that as I said, the fact that you could equip the pets was just like people were going crazy over that.
NFTs, equipping NFTs? Whoa.
What?
Yo, dog, I heard you like NFTs, so I put some NFTs in your NFTs so that you can NFT while you NFT.
And Brown Gent, Doug Hype, this is, where you guys come in as well. There was a presentation I was listening to, and I can't remember which one exactly, but they mentioned a point that resonated with me. Yes, 1,200, 1,250 plus projects in the space, but all it really takes is one of those projects to blow up, whether it's an Illuvium, one of the Gala games, Dragon's Crossing, one game sort of bring those eyes over and expose a vast variety of people to Web3. And if they win, here's a we in Web3, we all sort of collectively win. Brown Gent, Doug Hype, I mean, comment on that. It only takes one. What do you think?
So what I would say here is like the number one thing a crypto user typically wants. If you're in the space for crypto, you're an early adopter, you want to make money. That's just the reality of it. We're going through a transformation where you've got to build something that keeps people here so they're not just joining a protocol to extract value, find a way to sort of take advantage of whatever like sort of mechanisms in there. I'll be honest with you. If you watch my first DeFi Kingdoms video, I wouldn't say it was the most positive video I've ever made. I basically said, wow, Jules going to go amazing. I really don't want to care about this game or learn the game. But guess what? I'm here. What is this, like 18, 20 months later? Because the mechanics of the game drew me in. Jewel went to $20. Fantastic. I sold some, but I didn't leave. In fact, I just continued to reinvest. I feel like that George Costanza quote. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in, right? It's kind of like that, where I feel like, people are like, why are you taking profits? I'm like, I'm holding it elsewhere. I mean, you guys see it in person. Like, I flew across the country to come to this thing. I think I was probably the furthest visitor to this Congress, right? Coming from Toronto, Canada. Like, thank you to Sergeant, Starbuck, and Christian for keeping my secret for like 4 months or 3 months that I was
that long.
Right? Like I when Christian posted it, That day I messaged him and said, hey, I'm in. What can we do? Don't tell anyone. And
I'll
then,
be honest. Mosh was giving me shit about it. He's like, "You knew he was coming." I was like, "He said, don't tell anyone."
yeah, dude,
You came all the way from Toronto, Canada, the exotic landscape of Toronto, Canada.
Yeah, and honestly, I'll be honest with you. I didn't come to the 3xp. I came to the DeFi Kingdoms crew. I didn't come for 3xp. I literally only cared to hang out with the DFK people. You know what I mean?
Right, you just
And that's
came
a
there
fact.
to make nasty, is what you're saying.
The funny story is, I'm talking to Doug every night leading up to 3xp. I'm like,
Oh, that was funny. You got to tell that. You got to tell that.
yeah, so I'm sitting there working out at the gym, talking to Doug on the phone, and I'm like, hey, Doug, how can we convince Zelis, who's going, to sit there and talk about Dragon's Crossing? How can we get to do this? Oh, by the way, you should consider going too, knowing full well I'm going 100%, right? And I'm trying to not tell him, but, ask him to show up as well. We were this close, right, Doug?
Yeah, because if I knew you were going, I would have been way more bossy with you. So you're lucky.
Yeah.
Telling you what to do. I have a question for you, TBG. May I?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So I saw you playing poker a couple of times.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you heard from the guys at the poker table, because they were significant figures.
Yeah, so one of the guys that I was talking to was, and I mentioned this to a few people. He was like biz development for TikTok for Web3. So he actually showed up to 3xp because TikTok is doing a significant investment in Web3. They're gonna start treating a lot of the videos almost like auditions. Like, so how back in the day, like you do auditions, you go to a studio, do auditions as an actor. Now what they want people to do is start doing it proactively. They start ranking people on how their content's doing, and then they're gonna reach out to you proactively to give you contracts. My takeaway from that straight up was, I better learn TikTok. I think I told people that. I was telling people, like, I know zero about TikTok because I haven't cared. They're doing significant investments, and if you're a content creator, not just for GFK, but if you just want to like build your skill set, we're moving to like this ADHD or whatever, like 10-second like attention span thing. You build it here, and you can put it on all the platforms. You see it with Instagram Reels. You see it with like the shorts on YouTube. You see it with Facebook Stories. Every platform has sort of adopted this approach. The days of the 3-hour videos with Crypto Grady are not as impactful. Of course, you have that core audience who would love that. Doug and I did a 2-hour video right before this. The reality is, like, you just need, how can you be so impactful in 10 seconds? How do you capture someone's attention and make it memorable? That was sort of what I learned. And then a lot of people there were like degens who were there who like played poker, played in Texas, played in Vegas. I don't really know much about the U.S. geography. I imagine all of that stuff was close by to LA. I think it is. I know LA and Vegas are like
right next door, like 20-minute drive to both of those places.
20-minute drive, yeah, right. If it was 20-minute drive, I would have ended up there instead of Rodeo Drive. Okay?
4 hours.
It's a 6-hour drive if you're lucky. Picture of BG playing poker with the boys.
Oh, dang. No shades on?
That is after I got stacked or like lost almost all my chips. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, Sun Bear. I'm gonna bring up a picture. For those of you who weren't there, 3xp had this really awesome esports arena. And I don't know if you recall, we walked by that arena. I don't know where we were coming from or going to, and so that's a pretty neat, esports arena. I'd love to see DFK up there next year. And Sun Bear looks at me deadpan and he goes, "That's the plan. That's the goal." And whether it's next year or not, that's here neither here nor there. But the point is, right? The aspirations, they're big. We want to be up there. We want to be one of the featured games all these Web3 content creators are covering. Tell me about that, because I know that sort of ambition can't be uniquely yours.
No, it's not. But as I was in that space, and I'm like, why are we not up there? Well, we're not quite ready to be up there. When can we be up there? Next year. Next year we can be up there. I believe that. I hope for that. And quite frankly, like Game 7, Mantle, Hyperplay, BitDAO, like these are the folks that ran that entire thing, right? These are folks that we are actually very close to. We are close partners with this group. We were the first, web-based game to launch on Hyperplay, which is going to be the main like Steam like launcher for Mantle, and it's all a conglomerate with that Game 7 group. And there's no reason that if we're not ready, we won't be up on that screen next year. And so that's, as my job is like, BD, guy, I'm going to make sure that relationship is in place so that when we are ready, we are on that big screen and we are televised on Twitch. And we're going to show people what a Web3 game can look like when we come from the side of Web3, like full Web3 game. Everybody else is going Web 2, let's go 2.5, let's add in a little blockchain on the back end so you can own your assets, but you still get to play in Web 2. Now we're gonna show them what it really looks like, and we're gonna pull those Web 2 players toward us to be intrigued and to see it is fun, and you get to own your assets, and there's something going on here that's big, and this foundation is gonna develop into something that's even more and more fun as we go. So yeah, that's my goal. And yes, I did look at you and say that because that's what I believe we'll be doing next year.
Absolutely.
Can I add something?
Zealous, go for it. Yes.
So yeah, the stage. So every time I went by the stage, not every time, okay, just a couple of times I went by the stage, I saw a lot of people sitting there watching what was going on, and they were doing things like playing chess, like a more modern form of chess. They're playing chess, and I see people yawning, looking at each other, talking, like it's not very exciting. If they had seen DFK, and I say this because I sat next to these people and I would give them the brochure and they'd be like, "Where is this?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a big area that we have, but it's in the back, right? It's behind that big wall over there." Like, I never saw it. I'm gonna go there right now. Let me get my friends. So, and that's what would happen. They would come over. But if we had been at this stage, millions of people. I mean, I don't know how many people attended, but 10,000 more people would have wanted to see it, would have sat down on those chairs that were mostly empty at that stage most of the time. We had more people standing by our booths than people sitting at the stage. That's all I got to say.
To answer your question, Zealous, one of the esports players, one of the pros that was there, said that over 22,000 people saw his Twitch stream over those 2 days. So yeah, he was just playing the games that were there at 3XP. So that would have given exposure to 20,000 plus additional potential players of DFK. And one of the things I heard over the last couple of days, which I thought was really insightful, is I know there's a lot of people that play World of Warcraft and other games like that, and they sell their in-game items on eBay or whatever. And there's people that have made thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that just through those back channels and those little things. And I never got into WoW or anything, but hearing the stories of what people went through to sell gold and items and their accounts and everything, I'm like, well, basically what we've got is a World of Warcraft where everything you own, you can sell at any time, and you can actually, take advantage of the Web3 environment in order to build your, to build your heroes and create your legion and your legacy and everything all in the same place. So I was excited about that.
If we have a choice about going to a gaming conference or a crypto conference, I think after this experience, I prefer gaming conference all the way. The crypto guys are like, "Oh, but can I make money? Oh, but look at the price of Jewel." I'm like, it's not about that. It doesn't matter. It's like, play the game, have fun. And if you can make a profit from your strategy, from your tactics, whatever, then also make a profit. But come for the game. And at this conference, it was just gamers looking at either competitive gaming or having fun or investing in development of games, but entertainment industry. Crypto's not entertainment industry.
Starbuck, you've got some big picture items when it comes to conferences. Care to share anything there? I don't know if you've shared already or not. If not, we can skip over to a different topic.
I've got a big idea for a conference to come up soon, and I've spent some time talking about it with Dreamer. I want to create a lot of big fans for DFK Con.
Yeah.
So, DFK Con, I still got to work out a lot of kinks, and there's, a lot of moving pieces, but you think about the excitement that we saw just there, and you guys mentioned it multiple times. There was a circle, there was an energy around DeFi Kingdoms that just drew people in. People wanted to sit by us. They're just standing there, like they were like, why is there so many people drawn to the very back corner of this, like literally the opposite side of the main stage for the actual gaming portion, or the whatever it's called, the main stage that you just showed on the screen. Everybody is at the DFK corner. And when Jet and Brian D. Evans are speaking, people were just gravitating to the DeFi Kingdoms. The best part is, we were creating big fans there, and what they want to do is have just an understanding of why we were all there. Because you guys mentioned it earlier, when Dreamer came on stage and started speaking, there's sound everywhere, and people hear that, and they're like, they feel that vibe, and they're like, man, why are these guys so excited? And then when anybody else started talking, it was like, hey, you're muted or something, because nobody knows you're speaking. Even to the point where people were saying stuff in contradiction to what was being said by Dreamer, and they were making enemies fast because they could see how many people were supporting DeFi Kingdoms, and like, you guys know what I'm talking about.
We booed a little bit.
Yeah, as soon as we start clapping, as soon as we start cheering, like, people wanted to cheer with us. They wanted to be a part of something. They wanted to have the experience. What is driving all these people here? Why is it silent when everybody else talks, but whenever DeFi Kingdom speaks, number one, they listen, and as soon as they're quiet, it's like almost mandatory to clap and scream and cheer, because we know, we're living it every single day. If you've been here through the bear, we're building for a reason. We've all came to this place to definitely. I'm not gonna lie, I'm here for money. Like, I want to see DeFi Kingdoms grow. I want to play the game, but I want to make money while I do it. And we've got a strategy in place in which that we can grow our wallets. There's a lot at DFK Helper. You know this more than anybody. You can optimize your gameplay. You can play it the way it's designed to, with the enhancements that they've made to simplify it recently. And that's a big alluring thing for people. It resonates with people, and it gives them something that's a lot more substantial than clicking a couple buttons and walking away from a game and not even think, oh, that was fun for a second. But you got these people that are like, oh, what can you do with these? Oh, you can mine with them, or you can craft, you can garden, you can just be in gardens, you can just be in pets, you can, there's so many different avenues. And I think that having those diversified options in something protects it from being stuck in, having that really one-sided approach. You asked like what we're looking about in terms of big picture for cons. If we can get DFK Con in place where we can get AVAX there, get someone from Clayton there, get some of the partners that could potentially be gaming. Like we saw that one over the summer. What was it called? Where there was a bloater head and
Atlas.
Yeah, with Atlas.
Yeah, yep. Imagine
Battle
those
Showdown
partners also being
Good
part
game.
of DFK Con, or other games, ones that aren't there yet, or people that you're trying to draw. And then imagine in the community, big picture wise, if you had a game out there where the community itself put on a con, like they love the game so much, what does that say to everybody out there looking at the project and has their eyes? Your community put out a con and people showed up. That speaks volumes, at least in my world.
No, absolutely. Often imitated, never replicated. This community is huge. As Doug Hype might tell you, it's the energy people are attracted to. I attended more than one session at the conference, and I will say that Dreamer's presentation was probably the fullest sort of audience out of all of them. And that says a lot because he spoke towards the end on the last day of the conference, and as we all know, the last day was probably a little less packed than the first day because everyone partied harder the day before. But with that said, I mean, it was a great experience. It was the energy that attracts people. It's that community that brings people together, and it, we if you want to hang out around that energy, I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean, I spent more time with you guys and interacting with some of these other projects for that reason. Like Brown Gent said, hey, you know what? I came to the conference for us, for the community, and everything else is sort of a cherry on top. Sun Bear, we're hitting that hour. I wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of maybe give us some closing remarks. What would you like to share? I will say this, and you don't have to share any, because if I don't say this, someone's gonna in the comments say, hey, you didn't ask this. Is there any alpha you care to share? I know we spoke a lot over those few days. Anything you shared with us that you want to maybe re-emphasize to the community at large?
Let's see. I've got a few thoughts I want to share with y'all. I really appreciate, especially some of these comments in the last few minutes, because if we're really going to grow, if we're going to get to our potential, if our vision is going to be made a reality, we need to bring players in. We need gamers. We need people to come and have some fun. And I mean, we've had the NFT collectors. I got pulled in because I just love summoning. I'm like, I just want to create. I want to see what I can find. You know, we get that dopamine hit when we get those rarity, those rare mythics, all that stuff. But we need to bring in the gamers, and how we're going to do that is by continuing to build the game, continuing to make it exciting, fun, to engage a community, to have the tournament play, have guys like, people like you, leading those tournaments, or, commenting on those tournaments, engaging in them hopefully as well, kicking my butt along the way. But we need to get those players. And so the team right now, as you probably heard me say, is really focused on a few things. One, making it a lot easier to understand the game. That's the website, right? That's what we're doing with the onboarding process. It's going to include a lot easier way to just like get to game.defykingdoms.com, log in with like a social network or an email or something, social media email, something like that. And then you've got a wallet behind the scenes. You can use that. You can bring in your own wallet if you want to. We're just going to make it a lot easier and very secure to do that. I've met with over a dozen partners to try and figure out who we're going to have help us do that process. And that's one of our top priorities right now. Our other top priority is like getting Jewel, getting Crystal, getting money in the game in a really easy way. Multiple on-ramps, still working towards centralized exchange as well. And then the third major objective is just like, how do I help people do a step in the game, get a little taste of it, get rewarded for that, get a next step, get rewarded for that. So like these walkthrough tutorials in all of the different realms, that's kind of a third major objective that we're looking at right now. And then besides that, like we have all these assets, we own them. Like I need to do more with them. I can't spend all that time just, in the trader. I need places to do something with that. As you know, we've been talking about the bazaar or whatever we're going to call it for a long time. Like this is not just a thing that's going to be amazing in the game to be able to like put, whatever number of assets you want for whatever price and have people bidding on them, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to take that to multiple chains and let other protocols use it with their own tokens. And this is just the first iteration. Like there's so many plans to expand that out in various ways that's going to make the game even more interesting. The marketplaces and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I don't really have like new alpha, but I do have like clear vision, as you've seen come out with the art. We're still like, we want to make it look beautiful, have the move beautiful. And then we're really thoughtful about how we're going to get those communities to come in that we need. We've had the whales, we've had the first timers, let me get in early, all that stuff. Now it's time for the game players. So yeah, looking forward to that.
I love it. And before we let you go, we just have to hear this one more time.
Sun Bear, baby.
Baby.
And I'll say to you, I want to say real quick, sorry, I just want to say, you guys make this happen. You guys are the DFK family, and it just means so much to me and the team when you guys show up the way you do, when you find creative ways, whether it's how you get out to your communities, whether it's how you like build something on the side or you come to like me and the team members with ideas like dark tiers, all this cool stuff. Like you guys are the ones that make this happen. And I just have so much gratitude and love for you guys. And so that's why I'm here tonight. That's why it's like, I don't know, 12:30, whatever at night. And I'm still hanging out with you guys because I got love for you and I appreciate you so much. And we're going to do this together.
Awesome.
Love
We
it.
love you and
Absolutely.
appreciate you too.
Dark Summoning Daily Quest.
Big fan.
Yes. Special thanks to our guests, Sunbear, Doug Hype. I'd love to have you guys back on in the future as well. Brown Gent, Christian Peter, you guys were awesome roommates. Zealous, you were the man with the plan. Starbuck, Mythic Vibes, you and Mosh, Stick Intern, my better half. And with that said, we'll catch you guys at the next one.
Love you guys.
Love you.